So welcome to today's conversation with Prism Chambers, which I'll be hosting with my colleague Zuleka. Hi Zuleka, how are you?
Hi John, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good. How's the confinement going?
It's going on pretty well, honestly.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm very excited about today's podcast. We have a very distinguished guest, and I'm very honored and humbled that he accepted to be part of this conversation. We have Professor Armoogum Parsuramen G.O.S.K, who's currently president of the Global Rainbow Foundation. Good afternoon, Professor.
Good afternoon, Joanne. Good afternoon,
Thank
Zuleka.
you.
Hi,
Zuleka,
nice
sorry.
to meet you.
We're really thrilled that you accepted to give us some of your time. So welcome again. How are you doing during this confinement period?
I must say, for all of us, it was a big challenge, when it happened. And for me, I've rarely spent so much time at home. I've always been traveling, busy with activities. I cannot stay, not going out and so on. But
Yeah.
it has been a good lesson, I must say. It has given me much needed time for myself. I must say,
Yeah.
the whole of my life has been very active and hectic, I must say, And so this is a wonderful experience. In a way, it's a blessing, right? And what has happened during this period, that gave me more time to myself, but most importantly, to be able to do things that I wanted to do, which is to look after my wellness, and I've been able now to be a regular practicer of yoga, exercise, morning and evening, and this is I consider to be a big plus that I could have during this period, in addition to being with the family and being at home. But I'm now used to it, I must say, so I have no problem at all. But I'm not only doing that. My whole mission in life, Joanne, is a mission of service to humanity. I'll probably tell you more about that. And therefore, what I'm doing in this phase, and the confinement gave me, is still more time to reflect, to take action, and to reinvent ourselves. I've been very active with the Global Rainbow Foundation ever since I set it up in 2011.
I'll just give a brief introduction on you, because most of our Mauritian audience will be very familiar with who you are, obviously, but some of our international connections might not be. As you said, I was looking at your life path. I say life path rather than career path, and it struck me that it's always been a life of service. So you started as a teacher. You were Minister of Education. You've always been very passionate about education and children. You've been Minister of Education for 12 years. You were a policy advisor at the World Bank, still focused on education, and you spent 13 years at UNESCO being director and representative.
Yes.
And since you have retired, I understand now your focus is more on vulnerable people, people with special needs, disabilities, hence the creation of the Global Rainbow Foundation. So it's really an amazing life, and it's also, forgive me for saying this, there's almost a spiritual aspect to it, I feel, particularly with the Global Rainbow Foundation, the symbol of inclusiveness and unity. So my first question to you is, what inspired you after such a busy life to then go on to continue serving the community by founding the GRF?
Well, thank you very much, Joanne, and I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to you for taking this initiative. And I must commend you for doing things which people normally don't do. And still being very young, this initiative, I would consider it to be a very good one, because you are now looking out how can you contribute to society by practicing as a lawyer, but at the same time trying to give some time to society. And I would start with that point by saying that this is a very good thing of what you're doing. You're still very young. And I did start social life when I was very young. At the age of 15 or 16, I started in the village.
Wow.
And then it evolved, you know. Then I joined a village council. I was candidate for village council election where I won. Then I became chairman of district council, and then elected member of parliament in '82. Then I became Minister of Education in 1983. I was just 31 years old when I became Minister of
Wow.
Education. And that
Wow.
was a challenge, I must say. It was a big challenge, you know, because, and then I served for 13 years as Minister of Education. I would say also that I served, but I also survived, because this ministry is a very challenging ministry, you know,
Yes.
not easy. You deal with so many stakeholders, so many, you know, different groups that you have to handle, deal with, and bring them on board, build consensus, bring reforms, and so on and so on. But it has been a wonderful experience, I must say. And then after the 13 years as minister was going to a close, deep inside me, there was a strong desire to do something different. You know, and I was being contacted by the international organizations like the World Bank and UNESCO. Having served for 13 years, having played a very key role as Minister of Education in Africa. So probably they saw in me somebody who can serve at the international level also, in terms of sharing the experiences. They were very interested with the Mauritius Education Master Plan, which I developed in '91. In fact, the master plan was circulated widely in African countries as a model, and you know, and the UN agencies, World Bank, all of them were very supportive. So that built, if you want, my international profile, and that what got them to call me. They invited me to join, you know, and I had first the World Bank, and then UNESCO came later. But since I had the first from the World Bank, I chose to go to the World Bank first. But I must say, I was not very much in my my field in a way, because I was more, you know, action oriented, more with the people. So the bank was more project based, you know.
Yes.
So then UNESCO called me, and I went to UNESCO after 2 years with the World Bank, and that was a very passionate journey I had. I must say that was wonderful, and where I could serve globally, you know, in the field of education. And I was also director of the office in Senegal, Dakar, which covered the whole of Africa, right? And then I was called back to Paris as Secretary General of the Executive Board of UNESCO, which was a very important position. And after that, I myself, after serving there for 5 years, I was about to finish my term, and I requested to go to India, which is the land of my forefathers, as you know, but I wanted to serve India. And so I was director of UNESCO New Delhi, covering 6 countries in the region. And that was a wonderful experience, going to different continents, right? So now when I came back to Mauritius, there was a lot of speculation about, I've come back, and people on the street, when they met me, Mr. Parsuramen, you have come back, they imply coming back to politics.
Yes.
I told them, no, I'm not. You know, they were not.
You're
they
done.
Were not believing. They didn't believe me, in fact, you know. But I said no, and I took 1 year off to reflect. And I'll share with you, in all confidence, in all you know, frankness, that you mentioned earlier about spirituality. My whole life, from my childhood, has been framed. I've been, you know, influenced by spirituality. My father and mother always taught me right from childhood, you have to pray, you have to have faith in God, and He will take you where you have to go. So that was there, you know. And so when I retired, I came back to Mauritius. What next? There was one avenue was going back to politics. But after taking 1 year off of reflection, and the reflection was very deep, I must say, I did a retrospective of my life. And when I reached the point where I was born, that was the declic. You know, and when I look back, I was born in a thatch roof house with cow dung floor.
Wow.
1951. And my mother has never been to school. So you realize what it means to me. When I'm looking at that, I said, you know, I feel so grateful to my mother, grateful to my constituency because they elected me in all my elections, village, district, and member of parliament. I didn't lose one election.
That's incredible. That's amazing.
I voluntarily retired from politics in 1995 because I felt that was enough, you know. So that was a beautiful journey. And then I went overseas where I had still higher responsibilities and international recognition and so on. And if you're interested, I'll share with you a few videos that will give you an idea just for your own information. But what happened, in fact, then when I look back at this, where I started, what I've achieved, I feel happy. But deep inside, there was a great sense of gratitude. Gratitude to my mother, gratitude to the constituents, the people of Mauritius, for having elected me continuously and for having served as Minister of Education. These things, you know, for me, it's a very sacred thing. Politics, I would say, Joanne, although people may have different ideas about it, for me, politics is very noble. You know, when I joined politics in 1979, I joined the party of Haris Boudou. Why I chose his party, even my father was telling, what are you doing? We have Labour Party, MMM,
I just remember the jokes.
Yeah, I joke about Boudou, yeah. So, but to tell you what choice I made, why I chose the party of Haris Boudou is because a new party we were going to create the party. I was a founder member of the party. Why I chose, because Haris Boudou was at that time talking about spiritualization of politics. A young man with ideals, you know, and being spiritual deeply. So I connected with me. Yeah. I felt that this was the way I want to embark, you know. And I did embark on that for a few years, many years when we built up our party, and then came election 82 and I was elected for the first time. So that's the journey. So you see, therefore, for me, this spiritual aspect has always been prevailing. Yeah. And when I came to the turning point of my life, when I retired, what to do, then my inner voice, you know, with meditation, with prayers, with reflection, my inner voice with what gave me the declic of what to do. The inner voice make it very clear to me that now I need to give back. And I felt so much of gratitude for starting where I've started and reaching the successful career that I've done, you know, is not given. I could never plan that. I could never have expected it to be so beautiful, you know? Yeah. So therefore, this was the feeling deep inside. He said, okay, you've got a wonderful life. For 60 years, you've got that, you know? Now it's time to give back. Because the memory of my childhood has imprinted on me the fact that I have suffered, you know, in my days, right, with difficulties, economics and so on, poverty and so on. I deep inside, I felt that I have to do something to help others, right? That's how I developed this philosophy of giving back, time to give back. And from 2011 to date, I have been focusing on this only. I can tell you I spend a lot of my time doing service, and in various ways. You must have followed a little of what we do in Global Rainbow Foundation. Yeah. But the foundation, when it was set up, it was like a baby born for me. I've given birth to a baby, which is Global Rainbow Foundation, you know, and that was the very dear part of my life in this journey. Yes. And so I therefore decided to embark myself on this with a lot of commitment, a lot of conviction. And I can tell you, I'm a happy man. This is a phase of my life when I can consider I'm the happiest time of my life, where you're actually giving, you're not expecting anything. That's the beauty of it, you know, when you give without expecting, When you are a politician, you give, you expect votes. You expect people to, you know. But now I give, I don't expect anything.
Yeah.
You know, we've helped at least 3,000 persons with disability.
Wow.
We've given artificial limbs to 1,800 amputees. And believe me, today I got a call from somebody in Maud Albert, 51 years old, diabetes, is amputed. He told me he'd been looking for me and he got me today and said, can I offer him a prosthesis? I've said, yes, immediately after confinement, you get it. So you could see that the different type of pleasure and happiness you feel. And when I look at this, the amputees that we have helped, you know, there are 3 cases I will just briefly mention to you. There are 2 persons who got limbs, 2 adults. After getting limbs from us, they said, you know, we are amputees, we know the sufferings, we know what we feel about that. Train us, we want to make limbs for others. Today, they are my 2 technicians, making limbs for everybody.
Wow.
And then came a boy from Seychelles, 15 months old baby. Mother took him from Seychelles to come to Mauritius. He was operated at Apollo. After amputated because of deformity.
Yeah.
After that, the mother went to City Clinic, asked for a prosthesis. City Clinic tell him, we can't do that here. There is Mr. Parsuramen who is doing that. Go and see him. The mother came with a baby, 15 months with us. We told her, you know, it's too young. You wait for 1 year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The mother cried. She said, my last hope was coming to you. Again, you know, this is again divine and spiritual. We were touched. And my doctor and my technician said, let's give a try. We gave that boy his first limb when he was 11 months. I'll share with you a video of that boy.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
Now he's 5 years old plus. And every year he comes for a free limb with us. You know, he was supposed to come in April. Now he's postponed because of confinement. Wonderful boy. His name is Brandon. You know, you see him running now. And last December when he came, I gave him a football because he plays football. You see, and from an amputee now he plays football. You know, he runs around. So you could see the joy you get. You touch the life of people. Another example, I won't be elaborate too much. Another example is the case of Jane Constance, whom you know.
Yes, of course.
I discovered her, came to know her when she was 12 years old, because when she was born in 2000, I was abroad. I came back in 2011.
Yeah.
So I came to meet, I know her in 2013 when she performed at a ceremony which SECOM Foundation was organizing to donate funds to my foundation to give limbs, artificial limb for the first time. You know, after Jane sang 3 songs, I can tell you this touched me deeply.
Yes.
I could feel some sense of very, very strong vibrations. I went to the parents. They know me, but I don't know them, you know. And I told the parents, you know, you have a genius in the family. And when she was singing, I felt like some divinity. And if you allow me, if you agree, I'll be happy to accompany her and take her to greater heights. I made 3 promises, Joanne, on that day. One was to appoint her as ambassador of Global Rainbow Foundation. Number 2, to organize a concert for us. She was just 13 years old,
Wow.
concert for us at UNESCO in Paris. And the third thing I said, Jane, this is the end of the year. What Christmas gift you want? A very smart girl. Though she's blind, she is aware of technology available for her to facilitate her. You know? And she told me, you know, she took me seriously and said, you know, I have seen in UK, there is an equipment called iPole Solo Reader, which is a talking scanner. With that gadget, I can put my book, it reads it for me, I can download, I can do many things. I said, okay. I got that and gave it to her. I took her to Paris for a concert, which was a great occasion. And the appointment as ambassador was very easy. I signed the letter, you know.
Amazing.
After that, she came back. Then she went and won Voice Kids the next year, age 15. Age 14 at UNESCO, age 15 Voice Kids, age 17 she became UNESCO Artist for Peace. Then she finished the HSC. She wanted to do law. Just to share the story with you, how even there, it's faith in God that helped me to help Jane. You know, I had a lot of struggle for the appointment as UNESCO Artist, although UNESCO had agreed. You know, I occupied a very high position at UNESCO, so they saw her and they know. But I had difficulty here to get that through, but I prayed. We succeeded. Then when she finished her HSC, she wanted to do law. She applied for some support from government because her father has some money. He has saved for her, but going to UK is not given. You
very
know?
Expensive, really expensive.
She applied for some support, government refused. And this is where I was, again, I came back to her. You know, she affectionately calls me grandfather by heart. And so I told her, I made a public statement, it was in the press, that with or without government support, Jane will go to study in the UK. And then we started process of application. We got a admission to UCLan in Preston. And I was on a visit to Europe. I went there. When I went there, I negotiated with them. They gave a seat, plus they gave a scholarship to her, almost 1 million rupees. You know. Then I came back and mobilized some sponsors. People, you know, the advantage probably I have is the credibility.
Yes,
that
of course.
If I ask people, they will give me. And I managed to raise the required amount, and Jane now is comfortably studying at UCLan, although she's back to Mauritius under confinement here. So I come to that story to tell you, it is always, whenever I have been faced with challenges, I always call on God to help me out. And I have absolute faith. So I have no worry about what will happen. I know it will. The good thing will happen, you know, so long as you ask for good thing. If you ask for your personal thing, then it may not happen. But when you're fighting for a cause, I'm sure the door. So this is the history, the you know, of that.
I could listen to you for hours. It's incredible, and it's amazing how you said about the, you know, when you know, the acts that you perform now is those of complete selflessness, and in a weird way probably gives you more joy than you know, than previous careers. I don't know. In a way, it's because you have nothing to gain or nothing to lose. It probably gives you more joy.
Absolutely.